Hey guys, today I'm going to be comparing what is seen as the best magnetic budget cubes other than the Thunderclap V2 M, the Yuxin Kylin V2, and the YJ Yulong. The Kylin V2 M is around $10 and the Yulong V2 M is around $8, so the Yulong V2 M is a slightly better choice in terms of price, but $2 doesn't really make that big of a difference, so I don't really think it matters that much. So let's just quickly check corner cutting. This is like, the corner cutting on the Yulong is really weird. Like, testing, it's not the best, but it's fine. Like, these are on really loose tensions, and I'll tell you why a little bit later. But corner cutting is pretty good only when you're testing it. The Kylin V2, corner cutting is not as good as the Yulong when testing, but in solves it does act much better. So like 45 is probably the limit, maybe a little bit more, and then it won't cut. And cuts are a little bit more forceful than like flagships, but that is understandable because it is like a third or fourth or even a fifth of some of the cubes. So in terms of feel, the Yulong V2 M has like a clacky, smooth, and hollow feel, kind of like the WRM. Like I'll get into this in the performance, but I think I don't really like this cube. I'll explain why later. But I feel like the corner cutting ruins this cube. Like, the feeling is really nice. It's kind of disappointing how such a nice feeling cube, like, it's so smooth, really clacky, was like absolutely nerfed by the corner cutting. The Yuxin Kylin V2 M is really smooth, and it's also pretty quiet, which is something that I really like. And it is on the slower side. It's not that bad, it's not too slow, but it is slower than the average cube, which some people might like, some people might not like. Now let's get into the performance of these two cubes. The Yulong V2 M, like, outer layer turning is it's not as good as the Yuxin Kylin V2 in my opinion, but it is decent for a $8 cube. It's better than the other ones, but the problem is, like, testing cornering is fine, but you're not always holding the cube like this when you're actually solving. So for example, if I was to hold like this over here, and even a tiny bit like that, it just locks up, and it's not a regular lockup, it just starts flexing so much. Like over here, it can like barely do it, like a tiny bit there. Oh yeah, well, it did it for some reason, but normally it doesn't do it. So corner cutting on this cube is a little bit weird because when testing it is really good, but when I do a corner cut from like a different angle than this, like when I'm actually holding the layers, for example, like when I'm doing M like this, as you can see, the centerpiece starts to turn. So this is like a center twist basically. So whenever I'm doing U-perms, I always get like at least one lockup every time. But on the Yuxin Kylin V2, it does cut really easily. This also cuts really nicely. But on the Yulong V2, this is just so annoying. Like, the center starts twisting, so like it starts to lock up a lot more. And corner cutting is just so disappointing on this cube. I feel like the performance on the Kylin V2 is really good because nothing really stands out, so I think more people would like it because there's no like unique feel or something. It's just smooth, and that's basically it. It is a little bit slower, but it's not that bad. But like, the good thing is that like the corner cutting is a little bit bad, but it is a slightly more stable and slower, more controllable cube, so I think it really works together. This is like, the speed is I guess comparable to the Volk, so it's not that bad, but if it was a little bit faster, this might be my main actually, because the feeling is, it's normal, and I like that, and the corner cutting isn't that bad. It's $10. This is so cheap. Like, I know the Yulong is cheaper, but this is like so much better. So all in all, the Yuxin Kylin V2 M I think is like billions of times better than the Yulong V2 M because of the lockup problem that the Yulong V2 M has. I'm not sure how fast you would have to be for this to actually matter. I'm assuming around 20 seconds or 30 seconds. So but if you average around 30 seconds, you don't really need a magnetic cube. If you're averaging 30, then you should probably get a cheaper cube like the Yuxin Little Magic. So I really don't recommend this cube. It doesn't even feel like a speed cube to me. It's so locky, and it's way too fast. Magnets are too light. I just don't like it. But the Kylin V2 M, everything just works together really nicely. Nothing is wrong about the cube, but nothing really stands out, so I think more people would like it.